Do you know how the delicious fresh Muscovy duck eggs on your dining table are produced? From selecting breeds and caring for the ducks to harvesting the eggs, every step requires the dedication and expertise of the farmers. So let's explore how they raise millions of Muscovy ducks to provide an abundant source of eggs for the market. The Muscovy duck is a popular poultry breed that many farmers choose to raise in Vietnam. Most farmers opt for extensive free-range farming on a small scale to take advantage of surplus land or use agricultural byproducts. Although local Muscovy duck breeds have lower meat and egg productivity, they are easy to raise, highly resistant to disease, and adapt well to the local climate and soil conditions. However, imported Muscovy duck breeds yield much higher meat and egg production. Therefore, one of the most effective ways to quickly raise Muscovy ducks is to use imported breeds to increase farming efficiency. Farmers select Muscovy ducklings that hatch after 34 to 35 days of incubation. The young must be healthy, active, with dry feathers and bright eyes. Farmers avoid selecting Muscovy ducks with matted feathers that are too small in size or have unhealed navels, as their risk of mortality is very high. Male Muscovy ducks have a faster growth rate and larger market sizes compared to females. Therefore, when raising Muscovy ducks for meat, farmers select males to achieve higher economic efficiency. In newly hatched Muscovy duck flocks, males often have larger heads, longer bills, and bigger legs, and are less agile than the females. Additionally, to reduce mortality rates, they are regularly vaccinated against duck plague in order to treat and prevent E. coli infections. Farmers usually collect duck eggs at least once a day to ensure they are not dirty, cracked, or damaged. The eggs are manually gathered and brought to a processing area before incubation. The farmers select eggs of uniform size, with thick shells, no cracks, and no deformities. Eggs with abnormalities are not selected for incubation due to poor hatchability rates. They often use light to check on the internal quality of the eggs. This confirms the presence of embryos and ensures the eggs are free from defects. During the first 2 weeks of incubation, farmers must turn the eggs frequently, around 3 to 5 times a day. This ensures even development of the embryo and prevents it from sticking to the shell. Most farms invest in incubators and focus on the hatching process of Muscovy ducklings. Incubators provide a stable environment with controlled temperature and humidity. This ensures a higher hatching rate compared to manual methods. Additionally, incubators help minimize risks from environmental factors, resulting in higher quality ducklings. Thanks to incubators, farmers can optimize the breeding process, increase productivity, and improve efficiency in poultry farming. Farms specializing in Muscovy duck breeding are thriving. To maintain optimal humidity levels, farmers add bedding materials to absorb moisture and keep the environment dry, especially in Vietnam's high humidity climate. Muscovy ducklings under 2 weeks old need to be protected from drafts entering the coop. In cold weather, incandescent bulbs are used to keep the poultry warm. Farmers use 75-watt bulbs for a brooder containing 60 to 70 Muscovy ducklings. The ducklings need 24 hours of lighting until they reach 1 week old. The lighting duration is gradually reduced as they grow. By the time the Muscovy ducklings reach 3 weeks old, only 16 hours of lighting is needed. Each age group of Muscovy ducks requires maintaining the appropriate temperature to ensure that they stay healthy. After 28 days of age, they can be raised under natural light and temperature conditions. The barn can be built solidly for large-scale farming or simply constructed. Farmers can use available materials such as bamboo or wood to build coops. Muscovy duck houses must be cool in the summer, warm in the winter, and protected from drafts. The coop floor should be flat, with a slope of around 10 degrees to make cleaning easier and improve drainage. When the young reach 10 days of age, they are raised at a density of around 25 to 30 per square metre. After 30 days, farmers raise around 5 to 6 Muscovy ducks per square metre. Farmers feed Muscovy ducks with compound feed until they are 4 weeks of age, or use available household food to supplement the nutrition for the livestock. In cases where farmers use a fully confined raising method, they often feed them pellets or homemade feed fixtures. Farmers can allow the ducks to eat freely, but typically divide feeding into 2 times, usually during cooler parts of the day. Farmers must ensure the feed is always fresh in order to encourage the Muscovy ducks to eat. They monitor the amount of food, and if there is leftover feed in the trough, the next feeding amount should be reduced. Muscovy ducks over 21 days old can be grazed in the fields during the day to forage for additional food. However, farmers will still need to supplement their diet. Poultry is not an aggressive animal, but if farmers do not provide enough protein in their diet, it can lead to them pecking at one another. Next is a common task on any farm. Feed and water troughs must be cleaned, and Muscovy duck waste must be removed regularly. Cleaning is simple but extremely important. This task directly impacts the health of the poultry. Typically, a 300-metre coop can accommodate 1,000 ducks, but experienced farmers only raise 500. Lower density allows Muscovy ducks to have better resistance and grow faster. Less waste is produced and the coop stays cleaner for longer. With more space, the ducks can move around freely. Many farmers choose to raise Muscovy ducks for economic growth due to the short raising period and high income that can be earned. However, compared to other livestock, this poultry has a higher loss rate. Therefore, farmers must recognise unusual signs in Muscovy ducks and make the necessary adjustments. If the flock gathers in one area, it is likely due to a draft. When the ducks' feathers are matted, it's because the coop is too humid and their care is not sufficient. Muscovy ducks over 70 days old are ready for sale. Each duck weighs around 3.5 kilograms. Not only do they need to meet a weight standard, but they also must have a uniform and healthy appearance. This breed of poultry is popular due to its sweet, lean meat that is rich in nutrients. Muscovy ducks raised through organic processes are in high demand. Their meat is primarily used in family meals. Farmers can harvest and sell eggs 3 to 4 times a year, depending on the size of the farm and care conditions. Each large farm can supply between 50,000 and 200,000 eggs annually. The eggs are typically stored in a cool environment before transportation to maintain their quality. In addition to the domestic market, some Muscovy duck eggs are also exported to Southeast Asian countries as well as China. Bird farming has become a rapidly growing industry in China. From building barns, choosing food, and ensuring an ideal living environment, farmers are increasingly developing to meet the market demand and ensure product quality. Pigeon farming is popular in Guangdong, Fujian, and Jiangsu provinces. These areas have favourable conditions for year-round livestock farming. At the same time, there is developed infrastructure to help farmers easily access large consumer markets. The barn is designed to optimize space and create the best living conditions for birds. Farms often have many floors, with many small cages sized just enough for the birds to move comfortably. Pigeons are fed twice daily. Food will be poured directly into the trough and on the cage. The diet is mainly prepared by farmers themselves to suit the development of their pigeon flock. It normally includes grains, soy, and other additional vitamins and minerals. For young pigeons, the foods need to be finely ground for easy digestion, while for adult birds, the food can be provided in granules or pellets. Farmers also pay special attention to barn hygiene, ensuring the barn is always clean, free of odours and bacteria. Every day, farmers will clean up the manure and replace the manure mat under the cage. Pigeons often suffer from diseases such as pneumonia, diarrhea, and other infectious diseases. For prevention, farmers often vaccinate fully and periodically, combined with the use of antibiotics and adjuvants when necessary. Breeding is an important part of pigeon breeding. Pigeons usually start breeding at 5 to 6 months of age and can breed continuously for 3 to 4 years. Each pair of pigeons usually lays 2 eggs per clutch. Farmers always ensure a quiet, undisturbed incubation environment to achieve the highest hatching rate. The incubation process lasts around 18 to 19 days. After the eggs hatch, the chickens are carefully raised in the most optimal conditions to ensure healthy development. On some farms, farmers determined that the mortality rate of young pigeons after hatching was quite high. Therefore, they need to find a natural environment for young pigeons to be able to overcome this difficult period. The most common method is farmers letting the young live in the mother's nest. The mother pigeon's natural warmth will help the young pigeons to survive more easily. Meat pigeons are usually harvested when they reach 4 to 6 weeks old, when the meat is tender and of high quality. Before harvesting, farmers will check and remove those that do not meet the requirements. Pigeons are then caught manually and placed in temporary cages. A large portion of pigeons are sold to food processing facilities. Here, pigeons are cleaned, slaughtered, and processed into various nutritious dishes. Demand for pigeon meat is growing strongly, especially in big cities like Beijing and Shanghai. According to statistics, domestic consumption has increased by more than 15% from 2018 to 2023. Pheasant farming in China is common in provinces such as Shandong, Henan, and Guangdong. These areas have a favourable climate and environmental conditions. This creates ideal conditions for pheasant farming. Pheasant farms in China vary in scale, from a few hundred pheasants to tens of thousands. In 2023, several large farms in Shandong province achieved an output of 1.5 million pheasants, making them an important contribution to the domestic and export market. Pheasant farms are often divided into several areas, including a young bird area, adult bird area, and egg-laying area. Each barn can raise 20 to 50 animals, depending on the size and conditions of the farm. This makes it easy to care for pheasants according to each stage of their development. Most of them are grazing around the farm. Outdoor activities help pheasants develop more naturally. At the same time, grazing also helps increase the quality of pheasant meat. Some farmers also combine grazing with listening to music for pheasants. Farmers regularly check the health of the birds. This is to detect any unusual signs early. Then they can carry out any disease prevention measures and provide the necessary nutrients. Farmers often mix pellets with corn and rice bran. This is the main source of energy and nutrient necessary for bird development. Based on the age and stage of development, pheasants are usually fed twice a day. Housing and bedding are changed periodically to prevent the growth of bacteria and parasites. Egg-laying pheasants need a diet rich in calcium and protein to support eggshell formation and maintain reproductive health. Baby birds need to be kept warm during the first weeks of their lives after hatching. Heating devices or heat lamps are often used to maintain a stable temperature in the barn. This is an important stage because incubation and food provision affects the mortality rate of the breed and quality of the pheasant flock. Some farms may apply artificial breeding methods to enhance egg production and genetic quality. This procedure is highly technical and is usually performed by specialists. Harvest time may fluctuate depending on market demand, usually around 6 to 12 months after hatching. This is when they reach a correct weight and age of maturity. Catching birds needs to be done carefully to minimize stress to the bird. Finally, they will be slaughtered according to the standard procedures. With the increasing demand for pheasant meat and eggs, this has spurred the development of the pheasant farming industry, as well as more modern farming methods. According to agricultural industry reports, Guangdong is one of the provinces with the largest pheasant production in China. In 2023, pheasant production in Guangdong will reach around 2 million, accounting for a large proportion of the total national production. Finally, we will visit goose farms. This is one of the main goose production areas in China. Farms in Hebei are famous for their large-scale and high-quality geese. This province has many industrial and traditional goose farms. Goose barns are often built in large size to ensure enough space for the geese to operate. Barns can be closed or open spaces, depending on the climatic conditions and husbandry methods. Farmers regularly clean the yard surface around the farm. This ensures a living environment for the geese. However, barns are mainly to ensure stable living conditions. This is because most of the time geese graze outdoors. Farms focus on selecting good geese breeds and managing breeding environments. This affects the harvest yield. In addition, goslings are vaccinated to prevent common poultry diseases before being brought to the breeding facility. Their diet consists of grains, pellets, and green vegetables. Geese need to be fed many small meals throughout the day to maintain stable energy levels. Therefore, farmers often provide food to graze. Geese also need a large amount of water to digest food and maintain their health. Most of the water they drink comes from lakes and ponds. Therefore, the water source here is periodically tested to ensure it is not polluted. Choosing geese as breeders has a great impact on the reproductive performance and successful egg hatching rate. Eggs are carefully collected and preserved to guarantee quality. Farms use incubators and egg inspection systems to enhance hatchability rates. Incubators are used to maintain optimal temperature and humidity for egg incubation. This helps to increase the rate of eggs hatching into young ones. After hatching, the hatchlings will be transferred to a special care area with suitable temperature and humidity conditions. They are then cared for and fed with special foods to enhance their growth and health. For meat geese, they are usually harvested when they reach 5 to 6 months of age, while egg-producing geese can be harvested when they reach a different age. Geese are caught and handled gently to reduce stress. Finally, they are transferred to trucks to take them to the processing facility. The goose slaughter process is carried out according to hygiene and food safety standards. Goose meat is distributed through many different channels, including wholesale markets, supermarkets, fresh food stores, and restaurants. Prices may vary according from season to season and supply and demand conditions. In 2023, Hebe's goose production will reach around 15 million geese, accounting for a large proportion of the country's total goose production.